Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Let's Play of An English Haunting. Last time, we have tricked Sir William Crooks into participating in Miss Florence Cook's seance against his will. And today we will go through with the seance. So, let's take a look at the place. Raven? Florence has always been accompanied by one. It is said that ravens anticipate the strange. When I investigated Florence, I asked her about it. She told me the raven was her particular alarm. Now I understand. She was always on alert in case Sergeant Hughes reappeared. So if we ever hear the raven call, it means the entity is about to benefit. Okay. What else do we have? William Crooks. Mr. Crooks? Yeah. Do you think this will work? Do you have doubt? If there is a medium with a bad reputation, it is Florence Cook. But she seems very convinced of it. Florence never told me about Sergeant Hughes, but she was afraid when I asked her about her first mediumistic experiences. We'll find out in a moment. Screen. There is no one hiding behind the screen, if that is what you suspect, Mr. Moore. Sorry, professional habit. Be quick about taking the sample, will you? I'll do that. Mr. Moore, I'm ready. Okay, I guess we just need to talk to everyone. Remember, as soon as the ectoplasm materializes, I take a sample and you cut the connection. Exactly. Ectoplasm is just a reflection of the entity, a business card. It is not the entity itself. It is only an announcement that his soul is about to enter our reality. If you are quick enough in taking the sample, I will have enough time to close all the doors to Sergeant Hughes. Shall we begin? At your convenience. Gideon Hughes, can you hear my voice? Gideon Hughes, I am talking to you. What's the matter, Gideon? Have you become shy over the years? You disappoint me, Gideon. You used to manifest yourself without being asked. What is the problem now? I intimidate you, don't I? I know what's happening here. You had no problem scaring a poor girl. Now that I'm an adult, you are not so brave, are you? She's provoking him to manifest. You wanted to kill me, remember? It was the last thing you said to a scared little girl. Go on, you coward. Keep your promise. Or are you a liar after all? You used to call yourself Sergeant Hughes. I don't think you were even an officer. You were probably just an ordinary private. Up. Raven alarm. The Raven has. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Good lord. Florence was always right. Stop being amazed. We need to act now. Okay. Crystal flask. Ectoplasm. I've got it. I'm guessing this will not go so easily. Now, Aunt Florence. Cut the connection. Oh, it will? It's all over now. Right? Miss Cook? Aunt Florence? Are you well, Aunt Florence? Oh, the Raven is getting agitated. I have a bad feeling. Florence? Aunt Florence? Hello, Florence. Oh no! Miss me. I always keep my promises. No! Well, okay, that was certainly impressive. Good lord. Yeah, she's dead, Chief. She's... She's dead. No! Oh my god, no! Are you happy now, Mr. Moore? I'm sorry, Shut! Listen to me, please. No! You're the one who has to listen to me. Because ever since you walked into this damn house, you have not listened to me. I begged you to give up your endeavor. And look what you've done. You've got your damn sample. So get out of this house before I do something crazy. This should not have ended like this. But your aunt. I said, leave! I don't feel like we've made any choices here, so she is probably impossible to say. Aunt Florence. Alright, we have 2 out of 3 parts. Let's go back to the workshop and take a look at our jar of ectoplasm. A sample of ectoplasm taken from the emanations of the late Florence Cook's body. And it wriggles. Can we give it to Beatrice? I managed to speak with Florence Cook. Yes, and I have obtained this. By all the branches of modern science. Is that what I think it is? A sample of ectoplasm, indeed. I can't believe it. Florence Cook was not a fraud. Oh, Patrick, do you realize what this means? We could offer the world solid proof that the beyond exists. I think you're being overly optimistic, Beatrice. Look at the sun. It is nothing but a luminous amorphous gas. Skeptics will settle for any simple explanation. You're right. They need to see a ghost with their own eyes. And that is what we will give them. But for now, I'm bursting with happiness. Give it to me. I'll start assembling the sample in the box of revelations. We still need to find Eugene Wood's photographic plate, and whatever Professor Bennett has in his possession. I'm on it. Luckily we do actually have photographic plate. I have Eugene Wood's photographic plate. Wonderful. Why was it so special to Nelson? It photographs ghosts. That's simple. Have you been able to prove it? Yes. I have an album with photographs by Eugene Wood, taken with several plates from the same series. The one I got was the last one. If we discard the frauds and take the ghost photographs as authentic, they all have something in common. They're products of chance. Indeed. Spectres have always been captured to the photographer's surprise. A family photo with a floating face, for example. The figure of a lady in a window when photographing a building. Do you remember Campbell's photograph? Yes, the figure seated beside his wife in one of the empty seats on a train heading to Edinburgh. Exactly. And whenever there's been an intentional effort to photograph a ghost, it's been a failure. What peculiarities might this plate have? Perhaps a chemical process that enhances the recording of the beyond. Before assembling the piece, I'd like to subject it to several tests. Good idea. If we can figure out the unique qualities of the plate, we could enhance its effect in the box of revelations. You have read my mind, Patrick. Here you go. Well, we have the photographic plates and the ectoplasm sample. What about Professor Bennett's piece? I've been to the London Archaeological Society, but Professor Bennett is not there. His assistant could provide the key to the matter, but he is absent. Well, we should... Who knows we're here? No one. You may come in. It's open. Good afternoon. My name is Arthur Conan Doyle. Oh, this loser. You must be Professor Moore. Conan Doyle? The writer? I'm afraid so. I'm a great admirer of yours. An admirer of me, or of Sherlock Holmes. Should we suspend the search? What? What? I found the Utah episode more interesting than the detective investigation. I prefer your macabre tales like The Parasite. or lot number 249. You should foster that genre more. That was my wish. But that damn detective, a violin-playing drug addict, held me hostage for many years. I've had such an overdose of Sherlock Holmes that I feel the same way about him as I do about the foie gras pâté I overate some time ago. Just hearing his name is enough to make me feel queasy. I hate to interrupt this book club, gentlemen, but what the hell are you doing here, Mr. Doyle? The reason for my visit is that I saw a light from the street, and I hope to find Professor Nelson Ward here. Do you know him? I've always followed his investigations with interest, Professor Moore. We had a meeting with your colleague. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and I ended up funding the Box of Revelations. In fact, yesterday we donated a large amount specifically to Professor Bennett's excavation in Peru. But our friend Nelson Ward insisted this time it should be deposited in the university's name. I don't know why. Wait a moment. Do you mean that money belongs to the professor and not the university? Exactly. The professor hasn't stolen anything, Beatrice. So it seems. If this whole affair smelled fishy to me before, it smells even worse now. I see that you are aware of the unfortunate incident with the professor, and that you are unaware of his whereabouts. We know nothing. We came here in search of a clue that might shed light on where we could find him. But we've had no luck. I believe you. I see that despite the professor's absence, the manufacturing of the Box of Revelations continues. The awake unit. Yes, we've managed to obtain the ectoplasm sample and Eugene Wood's photographic plate. Are you serious? That's fantastic news. I suggest you lower your expectations, Mr. Doyle. I can assemble all the pieces, and even modify part of the machine. But I fear it cannot be completed without Nelson's help. There are certain connections not stipulated in the blueprints, and frankly, I'm out of ideas. In fact, we've yet to find Professor Bennett and have him enlighten us on the missing piece. So, two obstacles stand in the way of showing the public the existence of the Beyond. I believe you can resolve the issue with Professor Bennett. In fact, you've managed to obtain the remaining pieces, which was Professor Ward's main concern. So I trust in your abilities. As for finding Professor Ward, what about you? Don't you solve mysteries in your novels? Seems you're good at it. Unfortunately, Conan Doyle was extremely gullible and kind of stupid. There was an entire affair where two preteen girls, maybe three preteen girls, fooled him into believing that fairies exist by borrowing a camera from him and making some paper fairies and photographing him. And Doyle really believed that these are real fairies and rushed to publishing newspapers and said, oh, here are photographs of the fairies. My dear, I begin writing my Sherlock Holmes stories knowing at all times what has happened. I'm a writer, not a detective. But if I'm honest, I believe it's time to put my deductive skills into practice and compete with my most successful creation in intelligence. Buddy, you're going to lose so hard. I have contacts all over the city, and vision of what might have happened to our friend. They're just conjectures, but if I take the right approach... Yes, that's what I'll do. You, Professor Moore, try to locate Professor Bennett, the great dame of phantasmagoria, whom I deeply admire, and who seems to have revealed herself as a great scientist, will continue working on the machine. As for me, I'll scour London in search of the missing professor. Is that all right with you? Thank you for your help, Mr. Doyle. You can call me Arthur. We're a team now. We are not quite there yet. Let's settle for something in between. How about Sir Arthur? Well, if you wish. I'll get going. I hope to bring good news. Tell me something, Sir Arthur. What interest does the Golden Dawn have in the Box of Revelations? We are very, very curious about the Beyond. Perhaps more than the average person. Of course they are in a cult society. Although our desire was not to share the information if the machine bore fruit. Knowledge is power, isn't it? You are correct, Miss Shaw. But Professor Ward insists on it. He wants to share the results with the world. There is a dispute about this in the Order. But as far as I am concerned, I am with Professor Wood. You choose well. I return to the London Archaeological Society to see if this Oscar Koenig has returned. Good luck to both of you. See you shortly. What are you standing there for? Go look for Nelson. You're quite a character. I like it. Alright. Curious that we can still go to 34 Benwell Street. I guess this will be our final destination after assembling the box. Well, let's see if there is something good. Oscar Koenig. Please come in. The door is open. Mr. Koenig? Yes. My name is Patrick Moore and... Professor Moore. You're Professor Wood's colleague. I've been eager to meet you. May I ask you some questions? Of course. Where can I find Professor Bennett? I'm afraid he's out of London. Out of London? Do you know when he'll return? He should have been back by now. I'm so concerned about his absence that I was about to set out to look for him. Did Professor Wood come to see you? Yes, we had a conversation with him a couple of days ago. The discussion was so fruitful that he became our benefactor. What do you mean by benefactor? He will finance our excavation in Peru. According to my colleague's notes, Professor Bennett is involved with excuse for not being very precise in my description, but it seems to be a precious stone? A jewel? The Scarlet Stone, yes. As colleagues, didn't he inform you about it? There are too many things he didn't inform me about, so I hope you can enlighten me. A week ago, after thorough search, we published an article where we announced that we had located the whereabouts of the Scarlet Stone. We omitted the details, of course. We didn't want that area swarming with treasure hunters benefiting from our discovery. Professor Ward read that article and came to propose an arrangement with us. What is the Scarlet Stone? It is an artifact. Its construction dates back to the dawn of time. We believe it was made by the Hirbans. What does the artifact do? The Scarlet Stone generates continual high voltage energy on its own, without any external assistance. A potent and inexhaustible source of energy. Interesting. It is also the source of legends. What kind of legends? Nothing relevant, other than superstitions. It is said that its creators were frightened by what it could do. They decided to hide it, so that no human could misuse it. What arrangement? I'll be honest with you. We struggle to find funding for our excavations. Those close-minded idiots think we're chasing fantasies. They wouldn't fund us even for a train ticket to Birmingham. On the other hand, Professor Wood mentioned having a significant sum from a donation and offered to finance our excavation in Peru, in exchange for using the Scarlet Stone in one of his experiments. We need that money, Professor. My mentor's reputation has declined in recent years. We're outcasts within the archaeology guild. The deal seemed fair and beneficial to both parties. As I said, I intend to set out to search for Professor Bennett. I fear something may have happened to him. He might have found the artifact and had an unfortunate accident. Or perhaps he hasn't found it yet. Although if that were the case, he would have informed me via telegram. The train leaves tonight bound for Scotland. The train leaves tonight, bound for Eriswell, Scotland. That's where the Scarlet Stone is located. Would you like to accompany me? Scotland? I would like to, as it concerns both of us. But I'm having trouble obtaining the appropriate attire for such an endeavor. Don't worry about that. I see you are the same size as me. I can lend you clothes from my suitcase. What do you say? Will you join me? It will be a pleasure. Although I need to inform my colleague Beatrice that I will be absent for a few days. Sounds perfect. The train departs from King's Cross at 10. I'll be waiting for you. Germans and Britons share the same sense of punctuality. So, let's order that. I'll be there. Alright. Alex did not expect us moving to a different location. We will soon arrive in Scotland. Don't get too excited, Professor Moore. There are still several transfers to go, and we'll have to rent a horse carriage. There is nothing in Eriswell. It's a desolate place. The only remnant of civilization there is an old lighthouse, which I don't know is even still in operation. Let's hope Professor Bennett is safe and sound. Yes, let's hope. And that by finding the Professor, we'll find the Scarlet Stone. Since you don't have much faith in this venture, am I right? Why do you say that? I can see it in your eyes. You have the same look as the skeptics I face every day in my work. I beg your pardon, but I'm trying to come to terms with the fact that we have embarked on a search for an artifact of advanced technology manufactured when man still lived in caves. The humans populated the world before that time. You don't believe they existed, do you? I have my doubts. There is no historical evidence of it. And this is coming from someone who firmly believes in the existence of ghosts. Let me explain to you what my job entails. Imagine that the world as we know. Imagine that the world as we know it suffers a cataclysm of such magnitude that our civilization is wiped from the map. Cities are buried, and only a small handful of people survive. All knowledge acquired before them would be lost, and subsequent generations would be more concerned with seeking shelter from the elements, or essentially starting over. Follow me so far? Yes? Right. Let's fast forward tens of thousands of years. Humanity has managed to recover from that cataclysm, and the world has been repopulated, giving rise to new civilizations. Some wonder about their ancestors. Who were they? How did they live? So they begin to establish archaeological sites, and based on what they find in these excavations, they conclude that humans emerged after that cataclysm we discussed earlier. There is nothing further back, because they haven't found any archaeological remains suggesting otherwise. A logical thought, but not entirely accurate. However, not all knowledge was lost in that cataclysm. Thanks to oral tradition, fragments of that era survived, and were reflected in scrolls or books. Several of them talk about, let's say, an artifact called the Voice of the Dead. Several archaeologists decide to search for it. It's impossible for that to exist, said the most conservative ones. It is a fantasy. The only things we've found are sticks and stones, said the most skeptical ones. Have you dug deeper or explored certain uncharted latitudes? Asks a rebellious archaeologist. The response from the closed-minded group would be indifference or rejection. So that archaeologist starts digging on his own. And what does he find? A gramophone. A damn gramophone with a poor Johnny record. An object out of its time. An artifact that is impossible for humans, whose greatest technological achievement was the speed to hunt animals and feed themselves. Yet, for the civilization that perished in that cataclysm, it was just an entertainment device that could be manufactured anywhere in the world. Well, that's what the Scarlet Stone is. It is not a magical stone or a fantasy. Perhaps for the Hirbans, it was the equivalent of a car engine to us. I understand what you're saying. By the way, you mentioned that its creators were frightened by what it could do. Yes, that is documented in Maiores Nostri by Celso de Rodas and in Tempus Quod Nunquam Fuit by Yodam. Would you like my opinion? Sure, go ahead. Let's say one of your armies creates a projectile capable of wiping out an entire region. They decide to use it in a war, but that projectile is so powerful that it destroys the entire city. If my faith in humanity coincides with that of the military, they would be frightened by what that artifact was capable of, and they would agree never to use it again. No, that would never happen. That would happen 0 times out of 10. That could be what the Scarlet Stone represents. A source of energy that the Hirbans couldn't control. This has been a very interesting conversation, Mr. Kenny. Call me Oscar. But today has been a very hectic day, and my body can't take anymore. Do you mind if I take a nap? Oh, don't worry about me. Rest Rest, if this rattling English ship trade allows it. Thank you very much. Good night, Oscar. Gute Nacht, Professor Moore. Ah, beautiful Scotland. Finally changed from the shitty London. Damn it! Stop tormenting yourself, Oscar. Stop! Well, my gear was in those trunks. Those incompetent station workers were just supposed to take our luggage to the hotel in Edinburgh. Maps, tools, clothes, flashlights, all lost. I know, but there is nothing we can do now. Maybe we can find something around here that will help us. Look around you. This is a desolate wasteland. There's nothing for miles, just rocks. Not to worry, we'll get through this. Let's search for Professor Bennett before it gets dark. We'll have plenty of time to lament later. You're right. I apologize for letting you witness my frustration. Let's get moving. Alright. We now have a party of two, and nothing in our inventory. Have a look. The water must be freezing. Mountains. Oscar, come here. Have you noticed those glints? They're not signals, if that's what you're thinking. Look, the glints are very irregular. Maybe it's a small stream catching the last rays of sun. You sure about that? That's my belief. Well, Oscar is a joy. Okay. Let's not waste time here. Let's continue. Sure thing. Let's go. Professor, wait. I want you to have this. One copy of the topographic map of the area was lost with the trucks. I borrowed this piece of map from the inn where we stayed. I'll mark the places where Professor Bennett might be. Alright, let's use this area as our starting point. Nearby is a problem. Where is it? Ah, yes. Around here. It is an ancient druid stone circle where, according to our research, the Scarlet Stone was venerated. It is said the artifact we seek lies buried in its center. If the professor dug there, he has probably achieved his goal. And if we see no signs of excavation, it would mean he never made it to Elliswell. Exactly. There is a lighthouse a few kilometers downstream. On our way here, we saw that it is still operational. That means there is a lookout. You might have seen Professor Bennett wandering around the area. We should talk to him. Ready to go? Let's go. Okay, and yeah, this is the part. Actually, let us not go. Let us continue tomorrow with the next episode. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a good day. Goodbye.